Hello, this is the course of Information System Development, and in this video I would like to explain how can we utilize the function in Django, especially with regard to the social login. So if you have your social media like Google, YouTube, not YouTube, yes, Google and YouTube, Facebook. Okay, so yeah, how can you utilize those social media when you log in? Then yeah, you can just use that ID, and you want to extract those ID into your application. Okay, so in this video, we will learn about that one. Okay. So first, I will explain about what is social login, definition and concept, and how can we connect with the social app. Okay, one example, especially with regard to the Google, we will learn about it. So you will learn about what is social login, and then we can connect with the social app. In this video, I will explain only about Google. If you want to know about Facebook and GitHub, I think you can just refer to any other resources. But I give you some code if you want to use that. Okay, and we can create a generic view with the existing template. Okay, so what is social login? In the basic idea, uh, the social media like Facebook, Google, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, anything. Okay, so they have their own credentials. What we call as the credential means you need to verify your ID yourself into that social media, okay, into that social service in the web. So we have the web app code, okay, and we need to deal with the environment. So the environment, it might be related with the Google authentication, or it can be related with the Facebook authentication. So they have their own authentication. How can they authenticate you as the user of that social platform? So when we have this app service like the front end, then you want to connect to each of these social media, then you need to have the web app code. So once you already have the web app code, then it will connect to your system. So this is important, okay, when you want to do this kind of automatic sign in. So you don't need to have your ID and password. So it will automatically use your existing social media. There will be some steps like the app content, the IIS logs, out, uh, O authenticate tokens, and app logs. Okay, so those are the possible functions if you are using the social authentication app Django. Okay, so let's see the detail. If you are now building a client application, you will need to access the O authentication provider. And once this O authentication provider give you the access, then yeah, you can go back to this client application. Okay? And after you have this authentication, it will connect to the API. So there will be one API in order to connect with your social media. And uh, when you want to connect to this API, it requires a validation. So it will again do the validation, and then after it is validated, then it will connect to the API, and the API will return back to the client application. So it's like the mechanism, okay, for authentication. That's why using the social media like Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn, etc., it is quite safe because they have several times of validation. So before we start to do these things, I would like to say that just install this app. Okay, actually there are other kind of app. So there are like Python social app and this social authentication app Django. You can choose, but for this video I will just use this. Okay, so you can go to Anaconda. For example, I use the Anaconda to use this Django, and yeah, you can just type pip install social authentication app Django. Okay, so if because my computer has already the uh, library, so yeah, it will just appear like this one. But if you are the first time to use this, I think it will take some time to install this plugin. Okay, and let's make a new project, app with social, and let's make a template. I guess the template is automatically created. Okay, okay, I will just close. Yes, okay. So I need to make a new project, app with social. So make the Django project, and then app with social. Okay, and now you're just using the existing interpreter, and more things is about the template. Yes, okay, that's perfect. Okay, this is the first page, and yep, for the first, okay, you know that you need to create the fuse. Okay, so if you have the fuse.py in the app with social, I guess you need to have the fuse. Okay, so you will have one more file fuse.py, and then just copy and paste from the PPT. Okay, in the parent folder, just create the fuse.py, and then yeah, you will modify the URL as.py. I just use this one first. I will explain it later. Okay, because it requires sometimes. Okay, so you can just deal with this one. Okay, I guess you include everything here, and after you have this, yeah, actually in the first part you want to use like the home, and there is also another function logout. Okay, so this is a self-defined function for the logout. For the login, I will use the built-in function in the social app of authentication Django. So yeah, you can define your own method for login, but I don't want to make it more complicated, so I just reuse the existing log view in the Django. But for the logout, I will just give you a very simple like this one. So it means you can make your login, you can make your logout by yourself. But if you do not know how to make it clear, then you can just reuse the existing login and logout from Django. Okay, so this is the logout only. That's why you cannot see the login, because we are going to use the login view. Okay, so here we use the login view. We will access the login view from this Django contrib authentication. Actually, I put one more like logout view, but I, instead of using the logout view, I will create the own way to log out. Okay, so we have the path. There are four. First is the admin. I guess you know what is the admin, and then how can we do the logout, login, and then log out, and then authentication. So this authentication is in regard with the social media. So we are going to access the yeah, in this case there will be the authentication backend. Okay, so the social can be Google, can be Facebook, and other stuff. And then yeah, if you finish with everything, then you can just go to the home. Okay, so here is the urls.py. Is once you finish this, you can go to the next setting. Okay, so just copy and paste the social Django, because we are going to use this app. Okay, you will use this on the install app. Okay, yes, use social Django. Now after you have this one, you need to add in the settings.py, there is a template, okay, and you need to put this two line, okay, to the most bottom line, social Django context processor backend and social Django context processor login redirect. So it means when you have your files connected to the social media, so social Django will just run in the backend. And if we finish something, then we need to do the login redirect. Okay. And after you have this settings.py, you need to add one more related to the social media in the settings.py. So add this authentication backends to connect to the social app. So you can just put at the last part, yeah, because in this case, this is for the author validators. And yeah, you have the social core backends, OpenID authorization. So this also one of the authorization. If you want to use the OpenID, you can use. I give this one for you who has the interest to deal with this one, then you can just check from the internet. And then we have the Google OpenID, we have the Google authentication, and then yeah, you can use GitHub, you can use Facebook, okay, anything that you want, then yeah, you can just try to find out how to deal with this one. So after you have the authentication backend, I guess this is also one of the necessary thing in the settings.py. Okay. So in the settings.py, here is necessary to define what is your social authentication that you use. So it will give like the scope, like the email and file. And then yeah, if you want to log in, you can have their email and you can have your profile. Okay. And this is just the authentication deprecated API. Okay. Now, the final part in this settings.py, you need to have this login redirect URL. So at the final stuff, yeah, login redirect URL. Also, it means after you login, then you want to go back again or redirect to the home. And this one contains the Google authentication key and secret. So we will use this one. We will use your Google ID. Oh, so hopefully you have your own ID. So we will use that ID for this practice. Now, how can we get the client key and the secret key? So we need to go to the developer side, okay? And each social application like Facebook, GitHub, Google, they will provide the client app and secret key. So let's just use the Google first. I will just explain the Google. And if you want to get this app ID and the secret, then you need to go to the console developers google.com. Okay, I will make a new something like I will make a new account. Okay, I already tried with several accounts, and let me just give this one. Okay, it's empty. Okay, so nothing inside this one. So I give you also the step by step. If you're the first time to use this Google developers or Google Cloud Platform, then just agree with the term of service, and those two you need to confirm. Okay, I guess I already did this one. Then yeah, I don't need to do the tick like this one. And after you finish, you will enter the more details of the environment. First, let's go to the dashboard. Okay, so in the dashboard, you have a new project that you can create. So just create a new project. It will create something, yeah, random. Okay, the project number can be random like this one. And yeah, of course, you can define your organization. So if you do not want to define your organization, then yeah, no problem. You can also deal with the no organization. Oh, so yeah, there should be one. Okay, I guess this one will be enough. Okay. yeah, it depends on your type of job, so it requires, but sometimes it doesn't require. So after you have the project, okay, actually you need to do with yeah, the number can be random. Okay, after you have the things, yes, so you have this project. Okay, oops. Oh, okay, so we have this project. Okay, and I cancel, and then yeah, actually after you have this one, you can enable the API. Okay, as I explained in the PPT, then just do the enable API. Okay, and then you need to select the API. So in Google's, they have a lot of API like Maps, uh, JavaScript, and Places. So you already learned about API, right? So this kind of API, it can be extracted to your application, and you can just use it. Okay, sometimes it is limited, but still they open some function. They open some like the machine learning and G Suite for yeah other people purpose. In our case, because we are interested on email and the user profile, so I can recommend you just use this Google Plus API. Okay, so when you click this Google Plus API, you can just enable it, and yeah, it will be enabled automatically, and yeah, you can use it later for generating the key and the secret. Okay, after you have the key, okay, yeah, after you have this key, I guess you can just create the credential. Okay, maybe this one. No. Yeah, we have already the dashboard. Yes, so you need to go back to the API and service, and then you need to have this kind of button until you can see the credentials here. And now you want to make something new for this OAuth 2 client IDS. Okay, so if I click this, yeah, the authentication consent screen, it contains of two, which is the internal external. And if you don't have any organization that can support you with this kind of environment, yeah, external will be recommended. So it means that any user from Google account can access to your data, for example, as long as you can provide the API secret and the API key. Now we have this. You want to send or you want to show this authentication in the public or just internal. So if it is a public, then of course, yeah, there will be some risk. But if it is internal, then it might give you some cost. Okay. So I would like to make a new one. Okay, so you can just do with the create credential. Okay. Oh. Okay, so you can just make a credential. And oh, where is it? Okay, you can just create a credential, and I'm going to add the authentication client ID. Okay, when you have this authentication client ID, okay, so after you see this one, then you just configure consent screen. Okay, configure consent screen, and oh, this is the same. Yeah, after you have this one, then actually it requires more. It requires more information in this space. Okay, so public and then application name that you want to use. Okay, maybe you can just say testing. Okay, and then the scope for Google API. I think it's not necessary for now because we are just making only simple application. So the authorized domain, the application home base link, and etc. Maybe I can just use the blank and then just save. Okay, so it will create a kind of testing app. And after you have this app, okay, after you have this app, then you can again create this authentication. Okay, so if you already have this one, okay, then you will go to the credential again, and then yeah, you can create the credential and then the OAuth ID. What happened now is, now you can see the new authentication ID. Okay, so there are some details that you need to fill in order to fit with the Django environment. So what is the application type? Yeah, I can say that it's just web. Okay, and then after you have web, the name will be like web client one. It is automatically generated. And then for the JavaScript origin and the redirect URI, you need to specify. Okay, so I already will give you this example. If you are using the local host, then this is the authorized JavaScript. Okay, yes, this one. Yeah. And then what is the authorized redirect URI? So this is one example. So there are many resources on the internet that they just reuse this kind of thing. Okay, so the authorize redirect URI. Okay, and after you finish with these two, yeah, you can see your client ID. Okay, then if I click create, so it will generate the ID. Okay, you have your own client ID and you have your own client secret. And as I mentioned to you, okay, as I mentioned to you that yeah, you can check your client ID, you can check your client secret again. Okay, whenever you know that this is useful, just copy and paste from this page, then it will be fine. Yeah, don't forget to do the setting in your key and secret. So let's just use, okay, I already have the web client one. Okay, I will just copy and paste this client ID, and you can just put into this, because this is the key. So the first will be the key, and the second will be the secret. Okay, okay, I will pass this one. Okay, so we have the social authentication from the Google, and we are going to check how can we connect it. So the HTML file that I use here is like this one. So you can just add one file here, index.html. Okay, and then just overlap with the existing code. Okay, so this is the part one. Okay, and then I have the part two. So you can just copy and put those into the below part of your code. Okay, so you have this environment like this one. In the body, you have the nav brand, and yeah, you see this link disable. Okay, home. So this will be the header. Okay, and after that, we will enter this one. If the user is authenticated, then yeah, log on as the user name. But if it is not, then you cannot enter. So it is only an example for login with the social media email or credential. So if I already have this one, you can try. Okay, so if you already finished with this environment, let's try. But before we try, you need to do the migrate. Okay, so where's the so you need to do the migrate. And yeah, this migrate will update all the apps that you have in your Django, and after you already have those, we can start. Okay, and let's see what happened. So in this case, I'm using the I'm using this email. So this is the link. Okay, now you can see like the top part, the above part is like the navigation, whether you want to go to the home or link or disable, but now it's not working. So you can just try to figure out how can you add more here. And then now I'm going to log in with Google. So if I click, then it will go automatically to the panel, the information panel with regard to the Gmail address that I usually use in this. Okay, so if I click in my one of the name, because I use this, yeah, this is an ID. Okay, so it automatically get the ID, and after you have this ID, then yeah, there will be a welcome message, welcome aboard. So if I log out, then it will automatically return back to the original. So this simple idea to create this social media login will help you not to focus on the very small things, but yeah, you can just deal with the very big thing. Okay, so this is only the small thing. After you have this login with the Google or with Facebook, then you may have different issues to handle. So because it's just a common sense. Okay, you need, if you go with the data analytics, then you need to deal the code with the data analytics something. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's all. So we can see the system works well with the social login, and then yeah, we need to connect to with the social app like the Google, and the chapter we show already how can we create a generic view with existing template. Okay, some reference are here, so you can just refer to those reference. And okay, one more time. So if I check with the other, for example, oh yeah, that's cool. So any Gmail address or any email that you can open in Gmail, it will be fine for this testing. So you can see my other Gmail account is available for entering this environment. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's all. Okay, for the course, I really appreciate that you joined this course. There are many difficulties, especially when we are in the mid of the pandemic in the world about the COVID-19, and you know, as you might know that we uh, are eligible to conduct the offline course, like what I mentioned several times in the e-class, because many students are not willing to join the offline course. That's why I keep using the online. And yeah, I know there are many limitations. I'm very sorry I cannot give everything to you. I want to help you, and especially when you have the errors in your computer, it's very stressful. Okay, I know it's very stressful, but I don't know how can I help you. So if you have any errors, I ask you to send email, but some of you do not send email, and you know, yeah, some, I heard that some of you have difficulties to follow the lecture. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really sorry about that, but actually I'm doing with this YouTube because I thought that you may have some time to review, and you may have some like gap. You can just pause, and then you can deal with your system, and you can deal with your environment first before you continue, because when you install something, yeah, it requires some time. So your computer may have different environment with my computer, and yeah, maybe the internet speed also will influence the way to install those plugins and yeah, etc. So there are many issues that I cannot handle all the things by choosing the real-time class. That's why I recommend you to to just watch my video on YouTube, because you can just pause, go next, go backward, and etc. Okay. And if you check on the syllabus, okay, so I updated a little bit. Okay, so I updated some of the portion in the last part before the final exam, like the Ajax, XML, REST framework, and yeah, we learn about the Django deployment, and today we're learning about the social login. Okay, so yeah, you learn many things, and I hope that you can apply, or you can implement something in your future for your business. And of course is yeah, I explained that in this semester I would like to update anything from the Facebook group. Okay, but unfortunately, yeah, I have many things to do, so I don't have much time to update the Facebook group. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you still join this Facebook group, I will just give some more information in the respective of the information system. So the new part of information system, or the new trend of the information system. So everything of those I will try to update in the Facebook group. Okay. And yeah, next week I guess it is the time for you to do the final exam, because I know that is yeah, it's very tiring with this. You have the team project, and then you have the final exam, and you have mid exam. I give you this final exam in order to give your skills upgraded. Okay? So I want to upgrade your skills with this programming, especially with this Django, and I want you to learn something during the class, because we have no chance to review and etc. But I guess the final exam will be a good time for you to understand more about the information system. Okay, so once again, thank you very much for joining this course, and I'm really sorry if I cannot help you all the time. And this is my best effort for giving you the lecture on the information system development, and hopefully we can meet on other courses. Okay, thank you very much, and see you. Good luck for your final exam. Bye.